Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Double RPG here, and welcome back to Double RPG Livestream with Final Fantasy VII on the PC. In the previous episode, we went through the rest of the Shin-Ra building and made our way to Calm, where we learned about Cloud's past and his camaraderie with Sephiroth. And in today's episode, we're going to make our way towards the Chocobo Ranch and probably get into a little bit of the stories that are happening in Junon. But we'll figure it out as we go. But let's not waste any time and let's get on with this live stream, shall we? So yes, hope everybody's having a really great night tonight, even though it's Friday, and hopefully they are ready for some great Final Fantasy VII action. So right here, I'm trying to get the trying to get the world map to show back up, and here we go. So yes, we're back here to deliver some good old fun here in the world map. So yeah, it's Friday night, July 19th, 2019, and today, I guess the big release for a lot of people was on the Nintendo Switch, and that would be the game Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order. And if you're wondering if I'm one of those people who am going to get the game, I am, eventually. But for the time being, I'm just kind of working on my Final Fantasy retrospective right now, and if anything, I'm actually doing pretty well in terms of what I'm all doing for that current episode that I'm on. And for those of you who don't know, I'm on episode 10, and I'm still in post-production, and based on where I'm going with post-production, I would say that I'm up to 25 minutes worth of footage within post-production that I'm currently working on for that episode. And production seems to be going a lot smoothly, from what I could tell. So, working on episode 10 is actually going to be a pretty fun one, so hopefully I can have that done within the next 2 or 3 weeks. And then once I get that done, then I can start worrying about playing other games that I really, really want to play. And that's when I'll look at games like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 and Super Mario Maker 2, which is something that I've been wanting to... Super Mario Maker 2, pardon me, is a game that I desperately want to try out. And there are some other ones too, like Soul Seraph, as well as that Blazing Chrome game that's supposed to be an honor to that of the old school Contra series, even though it's made by an indie developer. So I hope you all will look forward to that. Well, I mean, it's not like I'm going to be doing a live stream on that, but what I mean to say is that I hope you look forward to my episode 10 of the Final Fantasy retrospective. And you know, a lot of people might ask me, how do I go about doing the retrospective episodes? And I got to tell you that the process is actually kind of interesting, but at the same time, it's actually not that bad once you figure out what it is all that I do. And basically, I think I do need to go through a step-by-step process to describe what all it is exactly that I do for the Final Fantasy retrospective episodes, so that way you know the type of production process that I go through in making an episode. And I will list them to you. I will list them all to you one by one as to what they are, and then I will give an explanation. But in between those certain phases when I'm working on an episode. But just so you know, there's actually 4 parts to working on an episode, and I will be describing to you all right here now what exactly they are. And I guess the first step, if anything, the first step is writing the script. The second step is playing the game and recording footage of it, of course. Third step is recording the commentary from the scripts, and then the fourth part is the post-production process. Ooh, got an elephant right here. But anyway, writing the script. Writing the script is probably the one I would say is the second longest process. No. It's not the second. I would say it's either the last or the third longest process in working on an episode of my Final Fantasy retrospective. And if anything, working on the scripts, they do take a lot of time and patience for me to get done, because there's a lot of things that I want to research in order to make a really good episode out of the, out of the installments of the series that I talk about. And I talk about some things like their development history, like how they got around to being made, who's involved, and then I talk about the game itself by introducing where it takes place, who the characters are, and all that other fun stuff. And then I talk about the story, the gameplay, and then I talk about the reception, and then other little tidbits between the games. And then at the very end, on like the last paragraph before I give a cliffhanger to the next episode, I describe like some important things about that said game, whether or not if it was a great achievement or if it was a bad shortcoming or an underrated entry or overlooked, or if it's something that was, or if there was an installment that was made based on undesirable circumstances and that kind of stuff. My body pretty much is like when it comes to me writing the scripts about, the certain aspects, when it comes to, a little bit slow down there. Did not expect that. When it comes to the whole scripting process, when it comes to working on an episode, when it comes to finding information, I tend to look from website articles and even Wikipedias and even official franchise wikis that are not on Wikipedia, because even though people are going to say, well, Wikipedia's not a really reliable source, well, that may be true based on whoever can say what they want, but at the same time, Wikipedia does actually provide, provide sources at the same time. Some of them, they actually do give sources based on websites where they actually get the information from to put on their wikis, as well as information that is completely accurate that, that portrays towards a game. So that's why I know a lot of people are going to say, that Wikipedia is pretty much a gray area. And, to an extent, I can agree to that, but at the same time, when there are official sources from websites that give off interviews and talking about elements that are actually true to the games, that's when I consider those elements to be reliable. But if it's just something that, based on what somebody said, like their own user-based review, I won't say, I won't, give them credit for what they say, but I will summarize, like, I would give, well, I don't know if summarize would be the perfect word for it, but I would say I would actually just, give a general consensus of what people actually say about said games, if that makes any sense. So yeah, there goes a whole lot of process in trying to work on the scripts, and there's also proofreading, and then when I'm in the process of playing through the games, when I come across something, there may be something within the script that I might have overlooked, and then I add those, or I revise certain lines, just so that way they would actually be very, very intuitive towards the certain spots that I talk about in the episodes. And then once I get... and of course that leads into the second part, which is playing the game. And playing the game is probably, I would say, the most... just time-inducing process. Because when you're trying to play through the games as they are, you want to spend as much time as possible as you can with making sure that the games that you play, or the installments you play, are either beaten from beginning to end, or you want to go the extra mile. Ooh, Clim Hazard, and they call it Crime Hazard? Interesting. I never even seen that before for Cloud Strife, but we will actually see what that limit break... I mean, of course we know what the limit break does, but at least you will see it in this episode, or this live stream for today. But anyway, when playing through the games, you either have to, go from beginning to end, through the whole storyline, and then skip out on some of the extra side stuff, or you would want to go the extra mile and include some of those, side things within the episode, like the super bosses, for instance. And I tell you, going through those super bosses, there's no one-way ticket to easiness, if I do say so myself, as some of those bosses, those super bosses actually, they are very time-inducing, and you have to know the correct strategy on what you need to do in order to actually beat those super bosses, or else you're pretty much going to get pwned really badly by them, and want to try to do everything you can in your own power to work up the right strategies and get your characters grinded to the max, and all that other good stuff if you want to get through those boss fights with relative ease. And probably one of the most like time-inducing examples for me when it comes to trying to beat a super boss, or when trying to get through everything at 100%, was the game Final Fantasy X. Now, when I played through Final Fantasy X HD, my only knowledge in playing Final Fantasy X was the version that we got back on the PlayStation 2 so many years ago. And basically, that version that we got of the game was, it didn't contain all the stuff that was seen in the international version, which is what Europe got, and of course Japan got as well. But of course, the Europeans, they were the first ones to get the international versions for the Western market, where it included all the optional super bosses that were not seen in the original Final Fantasy X, which are the Dark Aeons, as well as Penance, and Penance. And going through that, trying to get through it at 100%, that was very time-consuming, and that took, like, a little over 100 hours for me to actually go through that whole thing, where I grinded all the characters' sphere grids, and just getting their ultimate weapons, as well as the proper pieces of equipment for them to use when they're fighting against the certain monsters that they end up going up against, and just a lot of other things too. It's just, like I said, just working on that game alone, that really took a lot of my time. Now, when it came to the sequel, a lot of people don't know this, but when it comes to the sequels, there really isn't that much for the sequels when it comes to, me deciding if I should... if I should go through them at 100%, actual sequels to actual games, if that is to make any, if that makes any sense. Because when it comes to original installments, I usually tend to go for them at 100%. But there are ones that I will make certain exceptions towards if time is not on my side towards that particular circumstance. But yes, if there was a game like Final Fantasy X-2 that I go through, if I decide I did not want to 100% that game, then yeah, I will do that. Because most of the retrospectives are mostly focused on the original installments of the series. Now I know a lot of people are probably going to ask me, when it comes to the Final Fantasy retrospectives, and I said to myself, I made a decree to myself that when it comes to all the installments of the Final Fantasy retrospective, that I only cover... I only cover the mainline installments. And that has been true throughout the whole time, ever since I've been working on all the episodes. But there are certain instances where I will include extra material, but I will only, spin-off games and games that take place in that same universe as that particular numbered entry. Now, I only include those because if it's based on that same universe, or if it's in relation towards that particular numbered entry, that's when I will go ahead and I'll go the extra mile with capturing footage for those games, and then I put them in, into the retrospective episode. And it looks like that one did not want to attack me more, so I pretty much having to pwn that one. I think those ones that I fought, they actually had an enemy skill I was trying to get. But yeah, for example, like in my last episode, episode 9, where it covered Final Fantasy 12 and all the games in relation to Ivalice. Now, I included all the games in relation to Ivalice because they were in relation to Final Fantasy 12. So Final Fantasy Tactics, and I know a lot of people would say that, Vagrant Story was a more of a, deciding factor for me on whether or not if I should include that episode. And truth be told, I actually did include that episode include that game in the episode that I was going through, because I honestly felt that even though that Yasumi Matsuno does not actually declare Vagrant Story as part of the Ivalice universe, there are elements from Final Fantasy Tactics, as well as games in the Ivalice Alliance and Final Fantasy XII that are actually mentioned in those games much later on. So, spiritually, you could say that Final Fantasy... You could say that Final Fantasy... that Vagrant Story is related to the Final Fantasy universe. And then, of course, I included Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, and then Final Fantasy XII Revenant Wings, and as well as Final Fantasy Tactics A2. Which, Final Fantasy Tactics A2 was actually a pretty fun game, but the only downside for me when it came to that game was that it actually got much more difficult near the end of the game. Especially when I was trying to go up against the final boss. But when it came to those games, I only talked about them like in one voice clip. The spin-off games, that is. But the reason why I went through I talked about Final Fantasy Tactics in such length was because of the slow dance. No slow dancing. But when it came to Final Fantasy Tactics, when I talked about it in so much depth and detail like Final Fantasy XII, was because it was the first game that took place in the world of Ivalice, which Final Fantasy XII is a part of. So I went the extra mile, and I talked about that game to quite lengths. Let's see if you can actually attack it with your... Thing is that this enemy actually... It actually includes an ability, I think, where we can actually use the enemy skill. I know for a fact. I think the enemy skill that this one has is called Magic Hammer. And I think in order for you to use it, you have to use a magic ability on it, so that way it'll actually drain your magic points for whichever character you're using. Does it? Oh, shoot. Here, I thought it actually did. I'm trying to take my time not to try to kill this enemy so much, because... if that's the case, I knew that was going to happen. But yeah, that one has a magic hammer. But yeah, after I talked about... Hey, Lord Doom, welcome to the stream. Everything's going well. I'm kind of, while I'm playing this game, I'm actually talking about the process of what goes into me working on the episodes of the Final Fantasy retrospective, and of course, I'm talking about Final Fantasy, I'm talking about Final Fantasy 12, or my previous episode that covered the games in relation to Final Fantasy 12 and that kind of stuff. And, so yeah, I mean... Final Fantasy Tactics, I went through that game at 100%, so that's why I went into such detail to talk about that game in the world of Ivalice, because, like I said, Final Fantasy XII takes place in that same world, and there was just so much ground to cover. But of course, when it came to the other installments, like Vagrant Story, Final Fantasy Tactics, Final Fantasy 12 Revenant Wings, as well as Final Fantasy Tactics A2, Grimoire of the Rift, and Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions, and Final Fantasy XII International Zodiac Job System, I usually, as well as Fortress 2, is that I talked about those games and only those particular parts of the game in the retrospective by just only like one voice clip, because I already made my point about the world of Ivalice, but, wait a minute. Fortress was actually talked about in two parts. and 2 voice clips, because when I was talking about that game, I talked about how it was conceptualized, and then in the second part, I talked about how it did not fully come to fruition, pretty much. And then, of course, I talked about Ivalice's history because of all the games that takes place in that chronology. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interesting trivia that I decide to go with whenever it comes to, trying to come up with the basis of everything that I want to bring about for a Final Fantasy retrospective episode that I do for my own retrospective series. And Final Fantasy 13, I'll be talking in depth all 3 games in the Lightning Saga, and I will also be talking about Final Fantasy Type 0, because with all the games that take place in the Fabula Nova Crystallis Final Fantasy multimedia project, Type 0 is one of those games, but I will not be talking about Final Fantasy 15, even though I do mention Final Fantasy Versus 13 a little bit, but I don't talk about Final Fantasy Versus 13 or 15 at all that much, because I spend so much time talking about the other games, since when it came to Final Fantasy 15, distancing itself from the Fabula Nova Crystallis Final Fantasy multimedia project, that's why I saved it for its own episode. But yeah, it's just the Lightning Saga is more of the crux of, or more of the brunt of episode 10 coming up. So when it comes to the voice clips, and when it comes to the voice clips, and when it comes to all the other good things, God, these guys are very, very resistant towards magic. Well, I guess Blizzard is one of them that they're actually weak against. But anyways, as I was saying, so the episode 10 is going to cover I know you got Magic Hammer. Yeah, and I'm trying to get through the enemy skill materia greatly, because getting the enemy skill materia, it actually is going to help me with trying to actually try and get the abilities that all the abilities that I need. So when it comes to the episodes in the Final Fantasy retrospective, those are the games that I cover for specific episodes. Yeah, they're the games I covered in the specific episodes, and then the scripting process, and then the voice clips, which the voice clips are the ones that I go to for number 3, which is the third part that I talk about in my Final Fantasy retrospective episodes. And for the voice clips, I can either edit them if they're not really fitting well with what I'm trying to talk about. And I see that this enemy is not going to be giving me... you can't use Cure, so... And I... dang it. If there are certain voice clips that are not working well with what I'm working with, then I will take the initiative with trying to rewrite those scripts a little bit in order to actually talk about or try to get the words out what I want to say precisely, since they may be a little bit hard for me to pronounce whenever I'm working on the voice clips, because trying to work the voice clips on the spot is really not that easy, because it usually takes me a few times to actually get done what I want to be done. Oh, finally, we got the squirrels. Now, the squirrels that we go up, I think they're called Numos. Oh, level 4 suicide, perfect! Level 4 suicide, that's the new limit break that we got, and Aerith is pretty much in a really bad spot, if I do say so myself, but yes. So with the scripting, I mean with the voice clips from the scripts, I say what comes to my mind, and I pretty much... if something is not working out, then I try to reword the things a little bit, so that way it'll make it easier for me to actually say things in the way that I actually want to say those particular lines. And then after I get those done... now, the time when the part when I actually get them worked on is actually, it's either after I complete a game, and then I have it, or it's during the time when I'm actually playing a game. Because... when I'm playing a game, I can either make the voice clips when I'm, actually going through them, or I'll just wait until I beat a game, and then after that, I will just go at it from there. And just do the voice clips from there. And then after all 3 of those points are done... Oh, Seal Evil is done. Nice. And then after all 3 of those points are done, or 3 of those areas are done when I'm working on my retrospective, that's when I get into the post-production process. And the post-production process, it's a bit of a elongated process because of me going through something like Sony Vegas Pro and trying to go through a single session very long as I would like, because when I'm going through a single session within Sony Vegas, sometimes Sony Vegas will not want to work with me properly, and Sony Vegas can be a bit of a jerk at times when it comes to... Okay, that didn't work. Man, these guys, they don't even screw around. So I guess we're just going to have to hit them with Magic for the time being. See if they'll actually do anything. See if they'll try to do that Magic Hammer. And if they don't do that Magic Hammer ability, I think we'll just have to come back later. Because if they're not going to do it, I figure that at least one of them would be able to do it. Because... I mean, if... well, they wouldn't be able to do anything, but... I guess if you were to actually... I don't know. If you were to attack them individually, then that's when I would think that they would actually try to, actually do that to where the magic hammer will actually hit you. But considering what we're doing right now, I don't think that's going to be the case when I'm going up against these guys, because I think I'm going to need to come back here later when I can actually manipulate them. And once I manipulate them, then I can actually get that enemy materia into Cloud. Because sometimes these enemy skills, they're really not that hard to actually... some of them are really hard to get, but there are those that are actually not that hard to get, if that makes any sense. So when I'm working on the post-production process for a Final Fantasy retrospective episode... Golly. When working on an episode in the post-production process, that's when my body becomes like an inert dead fish, and then I really have no control over what it is that I'm doing, because everything just comes from my heart, basically, with how I want to portray an episode. Ah, crud. Or I think with the Magic Hammer, you have to get down to you have to get the enemy down to a specific amount in order for it to use that ability. I know I probably should be doing more to actually getting towards the Chocobo, but if that doesn't work with trying to get that enemy skill, then we'll probably just continue from where we left off. But yeah, working on the episode through post-production, as I said, my body, it just becomes an inert dead fish. I pretty much work on bring about the what I want to actually present within the episode. And some of the footage that I actually pick up through YouTube, they can actually be I could actually be very lucky with the types of footage that I get, and sometimes getting getting some of the footage in those for those episodes can actually be a pretty lucky feat for me to go through. Oh, I missed, but that's okay. Yeah, those pieces of footage that I can get where I talk about a specific part within those episodes, they can actually be pretty lucky, and they'd be spot on with what it is I'm trying to present within that particular episode. So there comes a matter where you have to be careful with the types of footage you choose, and most of the footage that I try to obtain either it are from playthroughs that other people have did, but I make sure that I do not include their watermark because I respect their privacy with their own content. But if it is something that they have their watermark on, then I will give them credit I will give them credit when I get around to doing the finale of the of the series in general, and if there are certain parts that do have a watermark, then that's when I will try to enlarge the video, so that way it doesn't include that person's watermark. Even though I will still give credit to them when I get to the very last episode. Oh, cool. Now we can actually use, I guess Crime Hazard is what we're calling it, but it's Clim Hazard in a sense. But yeah, this is a pretty deadly limit break, and you can see over 500 hit points of damage. So when I'm capturing the footage, then I put it in a folder of whatever game that I'm talking about, so that way they will be included with the episode that I'm working on, and then after that, I just work on the episode through there. And usually, those episodes, whenever if I'm over, like, I would say 2 hours for a specific episode, then they usually take me about maybe 2 to 3 weeks to work on. And then the process of how I work on those episodes is that during post-production is that I work with the footage, whether it's gameplay or from other sources in relation to a particular part of the episode. I will work on that at first, and then after I get all the footage in, as well as the music clips and the voice clips all synced in how I want to portray the episodes, that is when I will actually go back, and then from there I will add in my own little, like, just, what's the thing you call? Ah, dang it, I missed again. Just add in little bits and pieces of flair, like, like pictures, extra pictures, and like pieces of text and that kind of stuff. And then after I get all those in there, then I make sure that I have the certain parts that I want faded and make sure that I have the correct type of fade in there, as well as the correct video effects and all that other good stuff. And then once I get everything done from there, then that's exactly when I will get around to delivering the goods with going through the rest of the video with rendering it. And then I watch the video and make sure that the rendering is actually really good. And if the rendering is actually really good, then that's exactly when I will get around to getting it uploaded on YouTube. And then from there, I just get it up on YouTube, and then get even spread the word that I have it released on YouTube. And then once after I get the word out on YouTube, then that's exactly when I will, just watch from there and see how people react to it. And then that's when I usually will take a break afterwards. But yeah, those are the main points of when I work on my Final Fantasy retrospective episodes, and exactly the certain phases that I go through towards the production of an episode. And if you found that very entertaining, and if it's something you would like to try for yourself when it comes to other video game franchises that you want to try out for yourself, then I suggest you take my words into consideration with how you how you work on those episodes, because they will actually save you a lot of time and headache if you're trying to get around to getting them done. And yeah, looks like that enemy is not going to use Magic Hammer, so I'm probably just gonna go ahead and go into the saying that I'm getting attacked by so many ostriches, but I always thought that there was a certain process that you had to go through in order to actually get that enemy skill from that one enemy. But it looks like that's not going to work for us for that for this case. If anything, we'll just probably have to come back here at another point in time, and then we can once we have the manipulate materia, and then we can have that enemy use that magic hammer on us, or we could try to find another enemy that will use magic hammer on us, because some enemies, they will have enemy skills that, you know, that we could not even get the first time, and then we will actually get them a second time. In fact, I might have to do a little research on that to see which ones that have specific enemy skill that I can get for the enemy skill materia. Okay. Pardon me. And I will only max out on enemy skill materia for one enemy skill materia. I'm not going to do all 4 of them that I get throughout the entire game, because that would be too tedious to do that process. But I'll tell you, if you get manipulate materia, then that's going to make the whole process with getting the enemy skills a lot easier. And that's exactly like you said, Lord Doom. But anyway, let's go inside the Chocobo Ranch. And here we have lovely chocobos, and see them doing a pretty lovely dance for us. And this dance that they do for us, it is quite majestic. You know, when it comes to chocobos, ever since Final Fantasy X, I always found it very fascinating and just kind of hilarious too that they have the sound, that they have the exact same sound that you would actually hear from a peacock, peacock's quail or noise or call that they make. I was always wondering, Chocobo materia. Okay, when Chocobo materia is highlighted in red, that is the very first summon materia that we can get. And who should get the Chocobo materia? Should you, or should you? I'd say you have a lot longer with fire, so you get the Chocobo materia, Tifa. But yeah, the Chocobos using a peacock's squeal or a call, it's just, I always found that to be fascinating. On my run, I maxed 2 enemy skill materia. Any more than that would be insane and ultimately unneeded in my opinion. Oh yeah. But, yeah. So yeah, the Midgard Sormer, they actually called the Midgard Zolom its actual name in this game. It's called a Midgard Sormer. It's a creature in Norse mythology. I mean, there were other Final Fantasy games that don't use a peacock's call for the Chocobo, like Final Fantasy Type 0 and Final Fantasy 12. They don't even use those calls for the Chocobos. They just went with traditional, like, bird calls. Or other types of bird calls. But anyway, we talked to Chocobilly and asked him that we need a Chocobo. And he tells us that we old folks are out of luck because we don't have any Chocobos. The ones outside belong to another customer. Oh. So another customer is actually using the Chocobos. If you really want a Chocobo, why don't you go catch one in the wild? Want to know about wild Chocobos? Where are they? How do I catch one? And anything else. Yep, so he's pretty much giving us the rundown on how we can get Chocobos right here. Which is Chocobo Lure Materia. The name reminds me of Jormungandr. I think Midgard Sormer is actually supposed to be a representation of Jormungandr Jormungandr from Norse mythology, or they could be 2 completely different things. But if anything, I think that is That is how, I mean, that is what Midgard Sormer is actually supposed to represent. I could be mistaken, but a lot of the enemies in the Final Fantasy games are actually, a lot of the enemies and summons and all that other stuff about that you would see in the Final Fantasy series, they're all based on mythology in a sense. I don't need to know anything else. I just need that Chocobo lure materia. But yeah, Hjormungr is the world serpent in Norse mythology. Yes, absolutely right. Anyways, we got ourselves the Chocobo lure materia. And also, we need to buy some greens while we're at it. And Mimet greens, or Mimetite greens that we're going to be using. We're going to be using that for... I probably should get a third one, so that way I can have one for the Chocobo for the one Chocobo that will tend to capture. Because for one of the Chocobos for one of the enemy skills that we get when we're around the Chocobo ranch area, we need to have 2 Mimetite greens, so that way the Chocobo will get it to a level where it's amongst the factors of 4. And getting through that will actually make it a lot easier for us to get the Chocobuckle enemy skill for the enemy skill materia. So it could be anybody you would want to... I don't think we're going to need steel for right now, so let's go ahead and use Chocobo lure. This is just making me think of Final Fantasy VII Abridged and the particular kind of greens they had there. Yeah, I remember. The ones that made poor old Red 13 get all high. Looked like he was on LSD from the greens that he had on him. I'm kind of wondering if they're going to be continuing more of Final Fantasy VII Machine Abridged by the time when Final Fantasy VII Remake releases next year. Because if they did, that'd be great, promotion not only from their side, but also for, dang it, I missed again, but for Final Fantasy VII Remake as well. But I have to say, yeah, they probably would. As you can see, I'm trying to get Tifa to level 2 with her limit break. Because that whole thing with episode 25 ending on that cliffhanger, which is pretty much ending off disc 1, that was pretty sad. Okay, here we go. And no, so this doesn't give us the Alpha Dunks or whatever the names are for us to actually... Okay, so it's just running away. Ah, did not want that to happen. But yeah, we couldn't run away fast enough for us to make sure that the Chocobo doesn't really give us that much trouble, but it's okay. We'll keep trying till we actually get that. Or those blue elephants. When you see those Chocobo with the 2 blue elephants, that's when you want to get the Mimetite greens for the Chocobo. Again! Hubris. Yeah, it is a Chocobo, but it's gonna run off on us. Yep, it's gonna run off on us. But we're not worried about the Chocobo for the time being, seeing as how we're, trying to get the enemy skill. Then once we get that particular enemy skill, then that's when we'll actually get around to getting the that's when we'll get around to getting the Chocobo in our hands, and then we'll get past the Midgard Sormer. We don't even need Lasan nuts. Well, hopefully they will, Lord Doom, but if anything... Ah, finally! This is what we're looking for. Okay. Now get the Mimetite greens and actually feed that Chocobo. And what you want to do is you want to feed it a couple, because that will actually raise its levels up a little bit. And then that's when you use your enemy skill, level 4 Suicide, and that will actually make the Chocobo actually attack you. That really right to make Cloud sad? There we go. Now it's going to use Chocobuckle, but it's called Chocobo Kuru. Yep. Didn't really do any damage to us, but we actually learned that enemy skill. So yeah, that's the nice close-up shot of the Chocobo. But anyway, we take care of that. Now it's time for us to get our Chocobo. But after we feed it some greens, we're going to need to work really fast if we actually want to, get it in our party. Or if you manage to actually do a preemptive strike on the enemies while the Chocobo is there with them, then that's another good way for you to actually get the Chocobo. But still, no magic hammer yet. Oh, poor Cloud, you're all in sadness. Order by name. I need to get more stimulants, because that anger, that status for anger, that actually does well with getting your characters up with their limit breaks. Anyways. And then once we get the, once we get to the Mithril Mines, or the Mithril Mines, then that's when possibly we're going to want to have Barret in our party, because with him having equipped the Mithril Materia, I mean, not Mithril Materia, oh, why did I say Mithril? I don't know. But anyway, once we have Barret end up using the, ooh, bad. You don't have any magic, do you? I hope you can stay. If you don't, then we're pretty much boned for the rest of this fight. Please don't run. Ah! Tifa, why did you have to get this limit break so soon? Now I gotta go get more greens. This is bollocks, if you ask me. It's like you gotta keep that Chocobo occupied with the greens that you have, or else you're not gonna be able to keep it on you. So yeah, after I get done with, can I sell some of my items? Like, oh yeah, I forgot, I can equip my party with their respectful items, their new items that they can use, since they can be a bit more powerful. Oh yes, and they can even have additional slots equipped. Well, except for Cloud, because he has Hard Edge. But you're not going to need Steel. But I'll put that back on Cloud once as we get around to it. Oh, right. Chocobilly, get your butt back here. I need to sell some of my stuff. We don't need the bronze bangles anymore. We don't need the guard rod. We don't need the iron bangles. We don't need the leather glove or the metal glove. Mithril bracelet, we're gonna keep that. Mithril rod, I think Aerith is using that for the time being. And we could even sell a star pendant if we want to. Some of those accessories actually can be quite useful. Oh, wait a minute. We have titanium bangles, so yes, get rid of that mithril bracelet right now. Okay, so get me a couple of these. Hopefully this will do when we get a chocobo. And then we're gonna get past the swamp, so that way we can fight get past the Midgard Sormer and get into the mithril mines. So yeah, when it comes to my next episode after episode 10, which is episode 11, which covers Final Fantasy XIV, that's going to be... I'm going back into MMORPG territory, and that's going to be another interesting experience for me, because when it comes to Final Fantasy, I've been more prone to the... where is it? Where's the Mehmet Greens? Right there. I've been more prone to enjoy more of the... installments that are... I've been more prone to enjoy the installments that actually deal with... that are just single player, pretty much. No, don't shower. Don't shower us. So the single player experience ones that are the ones that I actually enjoy the most, but when it comes to the MMORPGs, they're a bit more tougher for me to get through because there's a lot more time and effort to actually... God, I hate this. I hate this so much. I hate this so much right now. Tifa, how could you miss? If you hit that Alpha Dunk, I'm pretty sure we've gotten through this right now. God, it's like at the first hour of this live stream, we're just stuck in the Chocobo Ranch area. But yeah, Final Fantasy XIV, it's going to be very interesting for me to go through because it's another MMORPG, but hopefully I'll enjoy a lot more than I did Final Fantasy XI, even though I did enjoy Final Fantasy XI to certain extents. But we'll just have to see from there. God. Man. Keep this up, we're not going to be able to go through Fort Condor anyway. I mean, we probably could if we sticked around the area after we get Yuffie, but still. I think we need a Chocobo who's in the far back. If we can get a Chocobo that's in the far back, and then we take on the enemies there... You know what? This may actually work. Okay, so give you Mehmet Green. Have you attack that thing. Okay. Tifa, why are you missing? Please. Get it! Got it! Yes, finally! That Chocobo is ours. Man, Chocobo was... making me aggravated. Okay. No, we don't want to press cancel. We just want to keep going with the Chocobo. And this will easily get you through past the swamp, and that way you don't have to fight the Midgard Sormer. And come this way. Yeah, looks like there's one Midgard Sormer who did not get so lucky. And yeah, Sephiroth pretty much did that. He just took that Midgard Sormer and impaled it through that tree trunk. I stopped breathing for a second there. I wanted you to get that Chocobo. I know, I mean, it's... I wanted to get through that as much as I can, because... Oh, wait a minute. We immediately go inside the Mithril mines from there? No way. I guess we do. Instead of having to go through, you know, a little bit more of the place, but, hey, this all works out well. I'm fine with this. I'm content. Anyway, I think I'm done with the whole chocobo lure. I'll go back to using steel, but I will give Aerith the enemy skill because I think the dragon who can use the flamethrower ability is the one that's gonna, that enemy's going to be attacking her the most. And I want Cloud to use that steel ability because there's one enemy I want Cloud to actually steal an item from, and that's actually going to be a glove for Tifa to use. That's actually more powerful than the current one she has right now. Wait a minute, you're using it on Cloud? Really? Funny how they call it a two-stage attack. Man. So stingy. It's like I need to give Cloud back that enemy skill materia because, yep, I think that's going to have to be the case, because I honestly thought that Cloud was going to be able to get the lowdown on that enemy. I mean, Aerith was the one who was going to get attacked most by that. I guess not. Or it's just going to be another one of those scenarios where we're going to have to use the manipulation materia to actually get what we want. Again. Okay, so go ahead and give that back to Cloud. I guess I'll give you the... No, you already have sense. Wow. So Aerith is alright as she is. Yeah, we're probably not going to go through Fort Condor, considering about how much money we wasted in trying to get a chocobo amongst us. Okay, here are the guys that I actually want Cloud to actually steal an item from. Because they should have one of the gloves for Tifa to wear. Okay, 2 years! Oh, dang it! I was kind of wanting her to actually... I was kind of actually wanting her to, Okay, that's fine, Lord Doom. I was kind of actually wanting her to... save one enemy so that way they remain alive, and that way we could try to steal the weapon from it. Okay, give that mind source to Cloud. It doesn't really matter who you use it for, but I tend to have, like, the main character of the game pretty much be, like, the strongest in the party. Okay, we're gonna try this again. Defeat one... Tifa, why are you missing? If I wanted to, I could give Aerith the long-range materia, and then I would actually have her do long-range attacks, to where they actually meet the same strength as, like, a short-range. I did not even think of that. Come on, steal it. Give her that new glove. Give her that new glove. Give her that new glove. Couldn't steal my iron fanny. Come on. Okay. We'll heal our party here. Dang. Dang, son. Okay, we got the Grand Glove. Now we can actually wail on this enemy. And have Tifa miss all over again. There we go. Now that Tifa has the Grand Glove, she can now do a bit more damage onto the foes we're about to go up against. Okay, materia. Give you the long-range materia. Because that will attacks have same power from the back row. Okay. That's good to know. There's really nothing over here in this vicinity. Still, not one dragon to do that flamethrower attack. Oh, wait a minute. I still haven't even equipped Grand Glove for her. Holy crap. And when I'm playing through this game, I'm gonna say to myself, does it really even matter that I try to get everybody's limit breaks? That I only get the ones that I particularly want to get the most when it comes to that particular feat, or should I? Okay. Get that Grand Glove back on you, okay? Okay. Now she's got more attack power. And if she wants, she can... You know what? No. You know, we can use that to increase our luck a little bit. Okay. Where's that flame dragon at? Not there either. Actually, since Tifa's amongst our party, how about she summons that chocobo? Watch her summon that chocobo, and we actually do ourselves a good favor with seeing some summon action going here. Alright. Now, the chocobo materia actually has two different types of attacks from its summon. And you just saw one of them right there with Chocobo and Mog, or Chocomog, rather, going through that whole attack spiel right there. And then there's one more where you have a fat Chocobo that comes out of nowhere. Nope, didn't get it. But we will get some back attacks in. Back attacks! Or surprise attacks! Yeah. Good way for us to get in some grinding as well while we're at it. Usually whenever I play this game, I usually like probably the first 50% is when I really like the game. I mean, I like the whole game, but it's like when I go through the first 50%, I really do enjoy going through like the whole, like that first experience of what they show in the game, because... Oh, there's Chocomog right there again. Because that's like where the best parts come in when it comes to character development and all that, and you were able to grind a whole lot, and it's just after that first half of the game... Oh, lightning leveled up. Oh, cool. It's just after that first half of the game, or when you're going... After you get past the first disc, then that's when everything just seems kind of like... I wouldn't say underwhelm me, but just rather... It just makes me feel sad that the experience is getting closer and closer to an end. Because I really do like the journey in this game. the whole journey aspect when you're playing this game, it actually feels like a legit journey that you're after somebody and you're just not going around doing missions or anything like that, or trying to go through everything in a non-linear format, even though it is better to have everything in a non-linear format in that sense, because, well, without going through the whole journey from beginning to end, it really makes the whole matter seem kind of pointless, if you ask me. But when you're playing a game like this, it just feels gratifying overall. I know a lot of people don't like linearity when it comes to Japanese RPGs or role-playing games in general, but this is one of the few exceptions where I find that the whole journey from beginning to end has its really good charm. I don't think the fire wyvern is actually going to show up here, so we may actually have to go back into that one area within the mithril mines. Mithril, pardon me. Okay, yeah, there it is. Now, hopefully Cloud is the one that gets attacked, because if he's not the one that gets attacked, then I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be really upset. Okay, Tifa. Show him what you got, girl. Oh, Tifa! You liar! How could you do that? Don't be sorry to it. You're actually doing an okay job, Aerith. Oh man, I wanted that ability, but now we have to. You delayed the coming to ruin all the fun, of course. No wonder why they called her the liar in the Machinabird series, Team 4 Zone series. Okay, now we got one, but we also got a few of these cold serpents that we also got to deal with. Let's call forth the King of Cold, shall we? Yeah, that fire wyvern is actually hitting us pretty hard. Yeah, Tifa, you're gonna use your limit break again? Yeah, I don't think so. Until you actually get your... No! You're attacking Aerith! It's like, if I brought Barret with me, this would actually make the process a lot easier. Oh, thank you for actually attacking Cloud that time, because when it comes to me actually fighting against this enemy, it's just... Ugh! Grr! It would always just attack Barret, but never any of my other party members. But finally, it actually attacked somebody who had the materia on them. Actually, since we got enough gil, we should be able to go through the Fort Condor. All right, now that I think about it. Yeah, we should be able to. Okay, so we got Flamethrower. So we just need to get out of this place and come across some friends who we never thought we'd actually see again. Dang it, I missed. I mean, Tifa is my waifu when it comes to Final Fantasy games, but by golly, she can ruin the fun at times. Or any of them, for that matter. But I guess for her ruining the fun, meaning that she can attack multiple enemies based on the amount of limit breaks that she has, then yeah. It's a game ruiner. Oh, and Ice leveled up. Ice, ice, baby. It's Lulu for me, all day, every day. Yeah, Lulu's also a pretty good waifu. Probably when it comes to Final Fantasy 13, my waifu in that game has to be Fang. Summon. Yeah, it's just Lightning doesn't really come off as waifu material because of her... because she's the female representation of Cloud, and Vanille is just annoying as all hell. But Fang, she's got quite a lot of spunk. Final Fantasy XII, my waifu in that game is, of course, Ash. When it comes to Final Fantasy 15, that's a really good question. Probably Aranea Highwind, if I had to say so. That or Luna Freya. For Final Fantasy VI, it's a tie between Terra and Celeste, for sure. For Final Fantasy IV, probably Rydia. For Final Fantasy V, it is definitely Ferris. For Final Fantasy VIII, it's probably either Renoa or Quistis Trep. Final Fantasy IX is definitely Dagger. Final Fantasy X, Lulu's a pretty good one. I would say probably my waifu in Final Fantasy Type 0 has to be Queen. Without a doubt. It's Queen. Or 6 or 7, one of those other two as well. But if you want a really nice waifu, then it's Deuce, who's right there for you. Okay, Fire leveled up there too. Cool. Okay, let's get out of this cave for right now. And yep. Here are our friends, the Turks. Is this... Do you know who I am? A Turk, right? Well then, this won't take long. It's hard to explain what the Turks do exactly. Abducting people? Put it negatively, you could say that. Or, to put it negatively, you could say that. Oh, I gotta try to act more like Crispin Freeman with how he portrays Rude's voice in Advent Children. But there's much more to it these days. You can't explain. Sir! The female Turk of the group. Rude, you don't like speeches, so don't force it. Okay, I'll leave this to you. I'm Elena, the newest member of the Turks, and very young for the newest member of the Turks. She's not even older than, like, Cloud. I'd say she's probably around the same age range as Yuffie. Thanks what you did to Reno, we're short-handed. Yeah, we got him in a bloody mess in the Sector 7 tower. Even though he is recuperating his injuries and wounds. Although I guess that's why I was accepted into the Turks. In any case, our orders are to determine where Sephiroth is going, and to make your life difficult every step of the way. Of course, of course. Hang on, it's the other way around. You're the ones getting in our way. Elena, you've said more than enough. So, Sung. Mr. Sung? They don't need to know our business. Sir, sorry. I thought I gave you your orders. Go, report back as instructed. Yes, of course. Very well. Rude and I will track Sephiroth, who's heading for Junon's harbor. Elena, do you have a hearing problem? Oh! I'm sorry. Now go. Don't let Sephiroth get away. Yes, sir! Reno sends his warm regards. He's hoping to meet you again after the wounds heal up. Now that you're best friends, he wants to share his new weapon with you all. Huh. I had no idea we were best friends with Reno. Well now. Aerith, it's been a while. Now that Sephiroth's reappeared, as far as Shinra's concerned, you're no longer a priority. What are you saying? That I should be grateful to Sephiroth? No. But we'll be seeing less of each other from now on. Take care of yourself. Strange hearing that from you. And I would very much appreciate it if you would all stay out of Shinra's way. Sorry, Sung, but that's not gonna do, buddy boy. Because we're after Sephiroth based on our own volition, so saying that we should butt out, that's really not in your place to say, mister. You know what? I'll have Tifa do the summons. So that way she can get to level 2 on her part. And you know what? I probably should also get Aerith to do the same there. So that way I'll get her limit break level up to 2. Alright, got him. But then again, we're going to be switching over to Barret here pretty soon. Okay, Surface Sweep. Here we go. She's got her level 2 limit break. So go ahead and swap materia. Share materia. And give her the poison. As she is going to be the one with Chocobo. And actually, give her Restore, because Fire is going to Barret, and for Barret, he's going to have all. And maybe... Oh, wow. Have Chocobo Lure for you, and have that for you, but then again, Barret is going to be coming into our party here pretty soon. Okay, we're done with this cave. It's time for us to get out of here. Thank you. But first things first. Summon Chocobo on these guys. On these ice-cold serpents. And I think it's kind of more appropriate for Aerith to have summoning materia, or just materia in general, because with her having that staff, she does seem to play more of the whole mage-like character. Whereas everybody else is pretty much just a jack-of-all-trades type of job. Anyway, let's get out of this place. And then we're going to go to our next destination, which is going to be... Anyway, use PHS and we'll call Barret in, and we'll have him equipped with the Cannonball, and you know what? Give you the Intellect, and give you the Star Pendant, and share for Tifa's part. Well, nope, that's not gonna do. I think you're okay for where you are right now, Barret, so... Okay, order, name... Do we have more than one tent? No, we don't. Okay. We will need to get some more... We will need to get some more potions, eventually. But anyway, we're going to our next destination, Fort Condor. Because we're going to be getting into a little bit of real-time strategy action coming up. Okay, I suppose I can help. Sure, we're going to be doing a little bit of real-time strategy, but this whole section with what we're doing here is actually kind of a fun mini-game. We should have enough to recruit the soldiers into our cause to fight for us. Because now we're not going to be going through like this whole fighting phase for quite a while. As we will be... as I will actually be just doing this once, and then we will do the mandatory part when we get around to playing as Sid. Wow, it's not every day you see people climbing up here. Huh? What's wrong with your eyes? Never mind. Listen, this is about to turn into a battlefield with Shin-Ra. You best go back down if you don't want to get involved. What are they doing here? What do you mean, a battlefield? Looks like you're also having problems with them. You came here after all. Will you hear what I have to say? Yeah, go ahead. Did you notice anything on top of this mountain? Huh? Something's up there? A huge bird? A reactor and a condor. Ha! Well spotted. Yes, it's a reactor and a condor. It seems Shin-Ra can't abide having a condor on top of the reactor. Well, that condor is actually going to be a very important figure for us to actually get a piece of materia later on when we play as Sid. It's just a huge bird, yeah? So why are they using force? Why do they care? It seems that there's some sort of special materia in the reactor. Yep. And because there's a condor in the way, Shin-Ra have rushed their army here to deal with it. The army's objective is to eliminate the condor and those living here. The condor is warming an egg. It only lays one every few years. We want to protect them both from Shin-Ra. New life, huh? I'll do it. I'll protect him from Shin-Ra. We have to protect the condor's egg. The thing is, we don't have the resources to fight Shin-Ra directly. That's why we've hired mercenaries to help us. As a sponsor, you can assist us with money or by fighting alongside us. What do you think? Will you join us in our struggle? What's to think about? We gotta do it. Cloud, I think we should help them. Alright. Yep, we're gonna help them out. And if you go up this ladder here, you can actually see a provisions shop. I think it's a weapon as well as an item store, or as a materia store. We got the item store here. Don't want to get too trigger happy with the amount of resources that we need to spend. Okay, this is materia, but it's pretty much materia we already have, so we can go ahead and go down, and then, you know, just in case we have to fight those goons, which chances are, there's a low chance we'll have to do that, but we'll just go ahead and rest up here and take a breather. So that way everybody will be in full restored condition. You know, a lot of people are probably going to ask me, who's my favorite character in Final Fantasy VII Machine Abridged? And if you ask me, it's a tie between both Red 13... I mean, it's a tie between Red 13, Yuffie, Vincent, and Sid. Maybe Barrett as well. Or I could say that almost all the characters have great personality, but if I have to, you know, choose one in particular, then probably either Red 13 or Yuffie. Oh, jeez. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Oh yeah, we can handle it. Let's go. There are 10 enemies this time around. Many of them appear to be beasts, so you may want to deploy more attackers. Okay. Alright, now here we go. This is actually a pretty cool sequence right here. Gotta lurk for a bit. Got some stuff that I need to take care of. Alright, well, thanks for watching tonight, Lord Doom. I really appreciate you taking the time to come and watch. Oh yeah, here we go. Alright, we want more attackers, if anything. So I would say, get more attackers while you can. Oh, I want attack... But, of course, I want fighters, too. And I want defenders, as well. So, try to get the, attackers on your side. And I would say put the defenders on the very back, because the defenders are going to help you out quite immensely with providing support from the rear. So, just try to do as much as you can. And also... Okay. One right there, one right there, one right there. Okay, I think we're about ready. Let's start this. And we can even adjust the speed if we want to. Okay, so who's all coming up first? So, looks like the guy was right. We mostly got beasts that are coming along the way, so we'll have them do most of the attacking on the enemies that we see that are coming across here. And then we'll just kind of kamikaze it towards some of the other enemies till we have to take care of the boss that's coming up. But he said there are only 10 enemies for us to go toe-to-toe with. But if you get a lot of these enemies to take down, that you can take down against the enemies, I mean, if you can get a lot of the attackers here to take down most of the enemies that are going up against you, then that's going to make things a lot easier when you're fighting off against most of these peckernecks. Okay, we need some of you guys to come down here too and take care of this guy. And yeah, they're gonna be deadlocked there for right now. Oh, they took down one of my soldiers. Yeah, we probably are going to need to hire some more pretty soon. But if we can get all the enemies in the whole doohickey here, then we should be able to get this in the bag. Yeah, and I do apologize for any of the graphical glitches that you see on the screen there. But I think once you get all the enemies to show up, then, I mean, all the enemies defeated, then that's when the final enemy will make its stand against us, essentially. Okay, get you to be attacking that one, too. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna kill that attacker. Yep. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna need them to move on to the final enemy here. Because they're coming in hot. Yeah, if you get a lot of those enemies on the main baddie here, then it should be This should be smooth sailing, but don't count your hopes up in trying to get this all in one shot. Because probably not going to happen. As this guy hits pretty hard. You see how well, you know, this this whole RTS action goes. Okay, we finally defeated it. We definitely halted the enemy attack for sure. That was great. Shin-Ra will be back though, and you could bet your life on that. We don't know when they'll send in the next wave, so check back very often. So I'm returning 3,200 of the gil. And we got a magic comb. That magic comb is actually going to be for Red 13. That's a stronger comb for him to use. I think it was just called like Magic Beret in the original localization. But yeah, we got that. Okay, so yeah, we're done here. And now we can get out of here and go get a ninja girl to join up on our cause. Or join up in our cause. And then we should go through, like, the first bits of Junon, unless we decide to stay out in the Fort Condor area and just kind of pedal around and do whatever we think is fun. Or try to grind our characters a little bit. We could do that too. Anyway. We're gonna see if we can try to get Ninja Girl Yuffie to join our cause. And oh! One of these enemies. It's actually a good idea. You can actually steal one of the weapons from here, because if you steal one of the weapons from the bird brains here, you can actually make it a lot easier for you to get a new weapon for Yuffie. Okay, so steal. Get that magic boomerang. Couldn't steal my Iron Fanny. Use Healing Wind on this. Probably have you be the healer while Cloud tries to steal that magic boomerang from this creature. Couldn't steal. Come on, you can steal. You got good luck. Come on. Actually attack it a little bit. Get some damage onto it. Maybe if we do some damage, we can actually steal it. That's wishful thinking. Okay, got it. Alright, go ahead and use Big Shot. Oh yeah, we still need to fill up your get the other half of your first level limit break, Barrett. I totally forgot about that. And we'll have to do that for Red 13 as well. Okay, he's got Mind Break now. Okay, so Mind Break is pretty much, it depletes an enemy's magic points. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move you to level 2 with your limit break system. And you're still stuck on level 1 for the time being. Okay. I'll probably have her do the attacking on enemies, so that way she can actually get her level 2 limit break as well. This ought to be good. So use Chocobo on them. Watch another Chocobo special take effect, folks. Boom! And here you thought that Moogles cannot exist in this realm, but they actually do, but there are more spiritual animals towards the Eidolons in this game. And yes, I still call them Eidolons. I know a lot of people ask me, why do I keep calling them Eidolons? in every Final Fantasy game, the summons rather, instead of just referring to them as phantom beasts and whatnot. Well, I would say that it's okay to call them Eidolons because that's like that's what I like to consider as the official name of the summons in like the entire series in general. I mean, if they're named as something else like Espers or as Aeons or Astrals or anything like that in the other games, then I'll refer them to that as such. But for a game like this, it's like I just stick what I really like best, if that makes any sense. Still, no bratty ninja. We need a bratty ninja to get on our side. Or else how are we going to be able to get through more of this game? Boy, we really do need to heal ourselves again. These guys can actually hit pretty hard when we're out here. Ooh, had a little bit of dropped frames. Saw from there. I may have to move it down like to 2200 or something next time when I stream, because I don't want to go up that high if I'm going to have dropped frames that appear all of a sudden like that. Okay, here she is. And let's give her the lowdown and stopping her. Ooh. That was actually a pretty hard attack. Still, it wasn't enough to actually finish her off. But at least you can heal us. That's all that matters. Good. Alright, got her. Now we're gonna have to play a question game to answer all the things that she asks us in order to get her on our side. Wait a minute. The music that's playing in this section, it's not Yuffie's theme. It's still that music from when we were over at Fort Condor. Man, I can't believe I lost. One more time? I'm sorry, not interested. Thinking of running away? Stay and fight! Fight, I said! Come on, what's the matter? Scared of me, huh? Yeah, sure. Good luck to you guys. Wait a second. What is it? You still after something? Ah, so that's it. You need my help because I'm so Right. Thought so. You put me on the spot. What should I do? If you want me that bad, I guess I can't refuse. Alright, I'll go with you. So, okay, let's get going. Hey! So we finally got her. I haven't even told you my name! Yep. Yuffie. Yuffie Kisaragi. So we have her in our party. I'm Yuffie. Pleased to meet ya. That went well. All I have to do is... Her skills of deception are coming to fruition. At least she said it normally, like any normal person would, instead of saying nyuk nyuk nyuk, you know, like the Three Stooges, because I honestly thought that was kind of weird for her to do that in the original translation. Let's chocobo this up. Sorry, Aerith, but I had to do this one. real quick before you actually get on with summoning that Chocobo and Moogle. It was a bit closer that time. I'd say that was alright. Alright. Yeah, so pretty much we're just kind of stuck here grinding a lot before we head to Junon, because I don't think we're going to be able to get that much done in Junon anyways. I mean, we could, but... See you in the morning. I mean, we could, but just kind of not really feeling up to it. And these guys, yeah, they hit pretty hard. You know, that are around here. No matter who you go up against. So this is like one of those instances where you're going to need to invest in a lot, and I mean a lot of tints to actually get through this area fine. I mean, you could head back to Fort Condor and stock up on tints if you want to. But yeah, I think of this as a pretty good grinding area just right before you head to Junon Harbor. Barrett, you get the pleasure of using Grenade Bomb. They go kaboom, and they're out of there. But yeah, that's a good place to get a lot of gil, too. So, use that to your advantage. So, I'm sure a lot of you, since a lot of you already know that I am a part of the Geek Fighters, a lot of you are probably wondering if we're going to be returning to live streaming tomorrow afternoon, and the answer is yes. Now, I wanted to say from doing... I wanted to take a break from us doing live streaming after we got done with Shenmue, but unfortunately, because of circumstances happening last week, I was not able to get around that was not even a viable option. So after we get done to Shenmue, we're just gonna head to the next game, whichever we decide. But we still need to get through Shenmue 1 first. Still, she's not at level 2 yet with her limit breaks, huh? Unfortunate. But yeah, like I said, this forest area is a really great area to grind. Oh, and Barrett, I do not even like where you are at with your hit points, mister. Oh, that didn't really do squat, because all that did was just, made them silent. And they can't even use their magic, which they don't even have magic. I'm gonna go ahead and take a drink. I haven't really took a drink of what's in my tumbler ever since playing this tonight. I got it. Chocobos. Alright. Come on, Aerith. Do more summoning. Seemed like we spent most of our time with going through the Chocobo Ranch. And honestly... that was kind of... that is a bit of a disappointment, because I really wanted us to get through the Chocobo Ranch a lot quicker. But truth be told, you know, when unfortunate circumstances happen, then just kind of have to face the music, if you know what I mean. Yeah, looks like Cloud's gonna need some restoration on his hit points here pretty soon. All of them, rather. But yeah, using magic to kill your enemies with a single character, that will count towards their totals of how many kills they got on an enemy, on a set number of enemies. So it's a great way to grind your limit breaks for each and every one of your characters. Oh, more of these guys. You actually do see... some of these enemies you actually do see in... you actually see them in Final Fantasy Type 0, and these are some of the enemies that you actually do see from there, too. They're some of the more annoying enemies in that game. Still, not even getting anywhere with getting the enemy down. I mean, you could. I'll have you use fire. And have you use restore here too. Maybe I'm actually supposed to be using regular magic instead of just summon magic. I'm not sure whether or not summon magic actually counts towards the number of kills that you can land on an enemy with a specific character who you have equipped for. If that's not the case, then I've kind of been wasting my time trying to get through this. Okay, fire these guys. Get them fired! This should be able to kill them in one hit. No, it doesn't. Can you... Ah! Barrett. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot I have Fyra. What have I been doing all this time? There we go. That should have taken care of them in one hit. Oh, Protect leveled up, so... Cool. Cool, cool. Yeah, we're gonna need to, get more tents here pretty soon. Really don't want to be spending my resources on all this, when I should be getting some more stuff in. Okay. Come on, Aerith, get to level 2, sweetie. No, she's still not at level 2 yet. Interesting. It's like you go through that battle 12 times, using that same attack on those 5 enemies, and then getting the... Wait a minute. Is it 12 or 16 times? Oh, that's one of the two. Anyways. Have her use that on them, too. And if any of your characters get, I think, 7,777 hit points that they're actually using for that particular battle, then that means they won't get a handicap, and they will just keep on attacking enemies non-stop until they die. Hi. Oh, I'm getting tired. Well, there's at least about 10 more minutes left of this live stream. Just want to let you know I really do appreciate you guys coming out here watching me going through more of this game, which I've been heavily looking forward to, wanting to play more. Okay. Another one bites the dust right there. Alright, Breath of the Earth. Alright, she finally got her second level limit break up and running. So I will go ahead and I will switch that to that. Okay, we got everybody, I think, except for Red 13. And Red 13 will probably we'll probably be spending a lot of time with the next time when we live stream. But we'll just continue to stick with who we have right now. Okay, Barrett, do your stuff and wreck crap up. And you do. Awesome. I gotta say that the critical damage for when you're using the limit breaks, they're actually pretty good this early on in the game. Yeah, it looks like everybody is doing pretty good here. There's one enemy in this area who does have a enemy skill, but we won't be able to get it until we have the manipulation materia on our hands. Rending Light. I mean, I could use Clim Hazard if I wanted to, but, you know, do a little bit of extra damage on some of these enemies, so that way we can actually lay the load, or lay the smack down on them. And if we get level 3 with Cloud to use Meteor Rain or Meteor Rain, then we'll be like, wow, we are definitely unstoppable here, folks. But I wouldn't even put it past that. Dang. All 5 of them attacked at once. This takes much longer, then Barrett's going to be up to using his level 2 limit break all over again, the Grenade Bomb. And I also got to say that some of the limit breaks that some of these characters have, they're actually pretty good ones too. Okay, so continue on here for a little bit. Probably for at least one more battle, and then we'll make our way to Junon. And we'll save our progress right before we enter the town. Actually, go ahead and summon the Chocobo. And have you continue using your limit break, too, while we're fighting in the upcoming battles. Alright, perfect. Okay, I think we're good for right here, so let's go ahead and make our way closer towards Junon, and then we'll go ahead and we'll save our progress for tonight. Because I think we made some pretty good progress for today. Oh, we got another enemy to fight. Okay, this is the enemy that has the enemy skill that we can use, but unfortunately, like I said, we have to get the limits, we have to get the manipulation materia, so that way we can actually have it use that ability on us. Because it won't use it on us in its current stage. Anyways. Yep, I would say we made some pretty good progress for where we got to tonight, aside from that whole, from those whole shenanigans that were happening over at the Chocobo Ranch, but, what can I say? I mean, that just normally happens when you're playing this game, but I will say, for the benefit of the doubt, that, just something just gonna have to deal with. Anyway, guys, hope you really liked tonight's live stream. I know that it was, seemed like it was kind of short. That didn't seem like we got a lot through in terms of the story, since we've been wasting so much time at the Chocobo Ranch area, but, I will say that, I at least tried to keep it pretty entertaining with a lot of stuff that I talked about, especially when it comes to me doing a lot with how I make the Final Fantasy retrospective episodes, and the same with how I made my Golden Sun retrospective. So that was also a lot of fun too. But hopefully tomorrow there will actually be a lot more story for us to go through, and then we'll have a lot of that to talk about, and then anything else that comes to my mind. I mean, I know a lot of people would probably want me to talk about Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3: The Black Order, but honestly, like I said, since I'm planning to get that game at some point, I really can't comment on it at this time, so just bear with me until I get around to when I actually, play that game, and then I will deliver to you my own thoughts about that, but it probably won't be until after I get done with episode 10 of the Final Fantasy retrospective. So anyway, guys, I listed the links below to where you can actually find me through YouTube and social media. If you like what you see, me doing my reviews, my retrospectives, as well as my 2 cents videos on my YouTube channel, then you can find me on youtube.com/RRPGreviews. You can also find me on throughout social media on facebook.com/RRPGreviews, as that's my Facebook fan page, and twitter.com/RRPGreviews, as that's my personal page on Twitter. And you can also follow me here on my Twitch channel. Be sure to hit that follow button if you have not done so already, or and also, if you would like, you can also hit that subscribe button for this channel, so that way you get access to my emojis, at least the first tier of my emojis. But if you subscribe to the highest tier, then you should be able to get access to all 3 of the emojis that I can post on, that you just post on here if you want. But and also, I archive my live streams from here onto my YouTube page, which is where I, archive them at, and it's called youtube.com/RRPGGameRifferSolo, which is the name that we went with before we changed it back to the Geek Fighters. And so that pretty much, the rest is history, but I pretty much renamed that YouTube channel as RRPG Livestream Archive. So anything that you missed from there, I will have that archived onto my YouTube channel, but that'll be after 24 hours after this episode has been up on here, since I gotta abide by Twitch's policies with keeping these live streams exclusive for about 24 hours after it went live. So yeah, be sure to look out for this episode up on that RRPG Livestream Archive YouTube page this Sunday at least. So, and then the others, they will follow soon after that. Anyway, guys, be sure to join me tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, when I'm playing Shenmue with the Game Riffers on the Dreamcast, to continue our commemoration with the Sega Dreamcast's 20th anniversary, since it is 2019 and it came out in 1999 in North America. So be on the lookout for that. And also join me tomorrow night when I return to doing more Final Fantasy VII live streaming at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, and we should get started with going through Junon Harbor. And then we should make our way towards closer to, I would say, probably the part where we're going to be stopping is probably going to be either in Gold Saucer or in Corel Prison. One of the 2 places, depending on how far we get. But we'll see how far along we get. But other than that, we'll just see how well it goes from there. But anyway, guys, I hope you really enjoyed tonight's live stream. And to sign off, I'm RPG, and all I just want to say is Godspeed, game on, gamers, Piccolo poppin' balls, y'all, and peace out. See you tomorrow, guys.